New Mutants number 17.
Another gorgeous book from Rod Rice, like always. I don't remember who it was that said this, but they said that they felt like this New Mutants run, once Rod Rice took over, was like the second coming of Bill Sienkiewicz.
Where did I see that?
Of his run. I think it was on that True Believers Facebook page group.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I have to agree with that. Like, this guy seems like he really is inspired by Bill Sienkiewicz, but does enough to have his own
feel to
it and stuff. Yeah. But it's so good. So I really enjoyed this issue. We basically start out with, if you remember the previous two issues, since Vita Ayala has taken over the book, it has been absolutely balls to the wall. It is. We've got 4 plot lines going on at the same time, and hold on to your boots. Here we go. This issue's not any different, but I think that Vita Ayala is really finding their lane and is tightening it up a little bit.
For sure.
The first arc that we get in this book is Shadow King, or Farouk. He's checking in on Wolfsbane. She's still super bummed out that her son is out there, but she doesn't know where he is, and she doesn't know what's wrong with him or what's going on. And he kind of has like a little heart-to-heart with her and says, I understand what it's like. I've been here before, yada yada. And then he kind of starts talking to her about, the children that he's been helping out in the woods. The weird, creepy thing that he's been doing that we've, been seeing in the background of this New Mutants book for a while. And he basically convinces Rain to go with him and is like, hey, I think if you come out and talk to these kids, I think you could make a difference. I think that you could actually help them deal with their psychic anguish, is what he says.
I'm going to cut in just real quick. I felt like Vita Ayala did a really good job of making Farouk seem sincere in this moment. Like, when I read it, I was like, I don't feel like he's being malice whatsoever. I know he is. Like, I know we should not trust him. But in this segment of the book, they did a really good job of convincing you that he may actually have innocent intentions.
Right.
And after I turned the page, I was like, wait a minute. Hell no. Like, he's the fucking Shadow King. There's no way he's being cool. Like, so anyway.
That's how they've been doing it this entire time. It's like, man, I know this Shadow King guy is supposed to be no good, and he's doing weird, creepy stuff with the kids out in the woods. But when he actually is speaking to anyone, whether it's the kids or to other people, it's like, well, damn, he seems so sincere.
And I think when he tapped into the whole, like, Krakoa is for all mutants, it's a reset. You're not supposed to harbor any negativity towards that. That's I think what really got me. I was like, dude, like, he's done his fucking homework.
Yeah. Then we cut to like our second main story, which is going back and following Danny and, man, I cannot remember her code name. Jean Coy Man. I can't remember her code name.
I'm sure it's in the front of the book. Hold on, I'll check.
Yeah, what is it? Karma.
Like Karma. Yeah, Karma.
Karma is easier to say than Jean, so I will say Karma. Danny and Karma have been captured by Merlin in his particular realm of Otherworld, and they basically make a deal with him that he will go to Roma and to his daughter's realm and steal some vase, and that's what will get them set free, and he'll tell them where Josh is. And so we get a pretty cool little adventure segment where Danny and Karma are traveling from, I can't remember Merlin's realm, but traveling from there to Roma. And we get some pretty cool sequences, like with Karma using her psychic powers to kind of hold people at bay, and then Danny uses her, projecting people's fears powers on literally the entire front of the castle. They think it's being attacked by like some big giant behemoth, and it's just, of course not. It's just a projection. And the art in this particular area is just so good. Like, I really enjoy it. And right when they start realizing that, oh, wait a minute, this is like witchcraft. This isn't real. This monster isn't here. And like these people are tricking us. They drink this potion that Merlin gives them that turns them invisible. And that's how they are able to break into Ladyroma's room or wherever it is that this vase is at.
Yeah.
But of course, Ladyroma's there waiting for them, and she's like, "What are you guys doing here?" And they're like, "Oh, we're stealing this vase that is super valuable and probably has mystical powers and can control the world." And she like laughs at him and is like, "Nope, it's just a vase. I just took it because I knew it'd make him mad, and that he just wants it back. That's it." Yeah. They're like, "Okay, well, can we have it?" Or she's like, "Well, how about this? You can take the vase, so you can give it to him, and he won't kill you, and I'll teleport you where your friend is, but you're gonna have to owe me a favor." And they're like, "Okay, sure, whatever. We're not coming back here, so bye." So there's an obvious setup for a future plot in this book. So yeah, that's we take a break from that arc, and we check in on a few of our younger New Mutants. We have No Girl, Cosmar, Rainboy, and Anole trying more of their like synergy. I think they name it this one. No Girl, Cosmar synergy, consciousness exchange, mutant to flower. So they have literally put Rainboy's consciousness into a Krakoan flower. And he comes out and he was like, "I think I was trying to photosynthesize." They're like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, like I couldn't move like on my own, like I couldn't like move my petals or something, but I could feel movement in my being." Which was pretty trippy, like just thinking about that. But then Anole goes like, "I got an idea." And so he goes and talks to my favorite character in New Mutants right now, the Honey Badger, and basically he's like, "Hey, you know X Factor? You know about that body farm?" And she's like, "Yeah, I do." Well, he's like, "Maybe we could get a body or something." Jesus. He's like, "The fuck are you guys doing?"
Yeah.
And basically they're wanting to do this consciousness transfer to see if they can literally put themselves into a different body and then control that body.
Oh boy.
Because this is the first time they've ever tried to put someone else's consciousness in something else. And Gabby does not like this at all. She questions the obvious moral problems of taking over a dead corpse and sort of like parading around on Earth as somebody's in somebody else's body that's not your identity, like especially a mutant, because that person's probably been resurrected, which means they're alive and out there, and so you're also in the same body out there. Like very obvious implications of how that could be a problem. And Anole like kind of loses it on her a little bit and is like, it's very, very interesting language he uses. He basically says you're human passing, like
right.
You can pass and pretend as what you want others to think you are, but I can't. People can look at me and know that I am different. And he's just like, you can't understand that. And I think that's a really poignant examination of mutants that we haven't had so far on in this era, that I think this is a very appropriate book and a very appropriate writer to be writing about identity.
For sure.
Then we cut back to the girls. They are with Josh now. They're in Sevalith. I don't remember.
Sure.
One of the other world realms. And they come busting out and they're like, "Hey, leave our friend alone, get out of here." And he's like, What are you guys doing here? Like, what's up?
Yeah.
And they're like, "We're here to save you. You got lost and we're here to take you home." And he's like, "Yeah, no. Actually, I'm here on my own. I don't want to be here or I don't want to go back with y'all at all. Like, this is where I want to be.
I'm
They're
cool.
like, don't you know how dangerous it is here? Like, you could die forever. And he's like, yeah, that's pretty much how I've lived my life.
Yeah.
Is thinking I could die forever. And I like absolutely loved this part of the book because it's something I've been thinking of since we started this whole journey, is like, do you really want to live forever?
Right.
Do you, like, is it like, obviously, like, if you knew you could just go throughout your life and like just come back in a new body, I think you'd do some crazy shit and like maybe die a few times, but like, do you want to live forever?
Yeah.
And the questions, you know, they don't dive deep into the morality of that here, which I think is good. It just leaves it open-ended. But Josh is like, I'm okay with just living here and living a normal life and like living with all of the dangers and consequences and things that it takes to just live one life.
Right.
So yeah, I really liked that part.
Well,
I really enjoyed it.
What was cool about that is it shows, like, at least the projection of the fact that most mutants have become spoiled, right? Like,
for sure.
they fear death, or at least the ones that are presented in the book, they fear death. So now that they have this trump card, they don't want it to go away. And who blames? I can't blame anybody for that. You know, like,
No,
sounds awesome, but like you said, Josh has like this very cool clarity of it, in the sense that, like, you know, we've only had this for like not even a year, and
it's definitely a less than a year time in their time,
for sure.
you know?
And so it's just kind of like, this is a new thing. Like, I
find it really interesting to juxtapose this with what happened with Pixie in Way of X last week,
right,
when Pixie literally purposefully shoved her head into a shotgun to get it blown off so that she could have her first time.
right,
Like, that's fucking wild.
yeah, that's weird.
And so I find it really refreshing to have these types of conversations brought to the forefront of the book. And then finally, because there's not enough going on in this book, we jump back to Danny and Sean basically talking about Karma, how Karma feels that she can feel her brother. Now, I'm not super... I might get the intimate details of this wrong, but James, this is from her like very first appearance, which is in like an Amazing Spider-Man annual.
Whoa.
Where she basically her psychic powers. She has psychic powers, and her uncle and her brother are bad, or her uncle is bad guy, and has been shifting her brother to be bad, and she's been fighting for him to be good. And he, at the last moment, he is about to use psychic powers to like kill people, and she basically uses her powers to literally consume him. And so she consumes his consciousness into her.
Okay.
But from that point on, which is like 6 months to a year before New Mutants #1, like the first New Mutants, all the way up to about issue 60, where I'm at or so, he's never really talked about again. So it's just sort of like there. And so when they started talking about, she's like, I feel like I can hear him again. I was like, oh shit. Like I seriously, I was like, she's gonna die, and then the brother's gonna come back. And sure enough, she asked Danny, will you be my partner in the Crucible?
Oh fuck.
And then that's how the issue ends. So I think we might see a long lost, really obscure mutant character come back.
That's cool.
And I'm just thinking that, haven't we heard about a guy that was real, but then kind of lost his own consciousness and was stuck in an area for a really long time, and then he came back and he had his own agency again, and he was really fucking pissed? Donald Blake.
I'm totally blanking.
I'm
blanking.
The Thor thing.
Oh yes. God damn. I'm sorry. I'm in mutants right now. I'm like, I'm thinking. I'm not thinking.
Yes, I know. So I'm thinking Danny's gonna go in there, kill Karma in the Crucible fashion. Or of course, they're gonna set it up with Xavier, and dude's gonna come out fucking guns a-blazing. He's gonna be like,
shit.
I'm back in my body now, and you guys can go get fucked.
Hold on, I'm just gonna look up the covers, the next couple covers for New Mutants.
Okay.
I'll put this on really quick, just so we can see. So here's our current one. The next issue is obviously, well, it's Karma, which, yeah. Looking for love in all the wrong places. The New Mutants' past seems simple. Train guide meant to the youth. Sure, they didn't ask for the job, but they have been figuring it out together, right? How long could it go? New Mutants are about to find out. So there's that. Then the next one's going to be the Gala. So wherever that goes.
Might not see this for a while then. Or, I mean, I could obviously totally miss it. I mean,
well, in July, the next one is Farouk over Gabby. And it's Weekend at Xavier's. In the heart of the wild hunt, schemers are dreaming, deceptions are coming to light, and the dead are walking. Just another day at Krakoa for the New Mutants.
That cover is fucking amazing.
Yes, it is. So, anyway, my breakdown, or my, just my overall review of the book is, I felt like this issue finally, I think Ayala finally figured, for me personally, figured out the pacing where you can fit 3 to 4 stories in one issue and make it feel oversized, even though it's only 28 pages. And it didn't feel rushed. That's what I'll say about this, is I really enjoyed this issue, and I felt like the pacing finally felt like it found its groove. It found its rhythm. Whereas the previous 2 to 3 issues, I was just like, whoa, like we are flying through this shit, and we're packing in so much information, and I just felt like it did a good job in this one.
So really quickly, I know we're going off on a long tangent here, but I just was looking at, I was like, maybe, did they mention anything about this in the synopsis? This is not the synopsis for the issue that we got fully.
Really?
It says, what's left over when you go home? With a mutant child lost in Otherworld, it's up to the New Mutants to find and extract him. Makes sense. Without losing themselves in the process. Meanwhile, on Krakoa, Warlock makes a friend, Wolfsbane makes a friend, and Magic makes some enemies. Warlock and Magic are not in this issue at all. So I'm very curious what got cut and what we're missing, and who dropped that shit. Who dropped the ball on that? Because that's really weird to me.
That is weird.
Anyway.
Well, I enjoyed it.
I did too.
Also, does it look like on the cover? Doesn't that look like the nanny? Doesn't it look like Nanny's suit in pink?
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Like sideways.
Yeah.
Weird.
I don't know. Weird stuff.
Weird.
Anyway, that is New Mutants number 17. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Wow.
Wow.